Well, welcome to the next segment of your one-on-one coaching. What I want to do quickly is tell you what you can expect on this series of CDs we have for you. This one is going to be on time management. We're then going to have a CD on prospecting, an additional CD on past client centers of influence, which of course is a method of prospecting, a CD on lead follow-up, then on pre-qualifying, the listing presentation itself, pricing property, handling objections, closing skills, which are critical, negotiating contracts, working with buyers, administration and staffing for those that have staff working for them, customer service, which is critical, business planning, making sure that you have a plan in effect to grow your business each year, tracking your numbers, practicing scripts and developing skills, developing a strong mindset, goal setting and motivation, money management, critical to your success, setting up any business systems necessary, and then understanding personality styles. There is a lot to learn. If you've already listened to the introductory CD, you know that there's going to be a lot to learn. It's going to take a long time, and you and I together with your coach can make this happen. But it all revolves around our ability to manage our time. So what I'm going to do is go through with you today a series of points in relationship to time management. None of these points are the answer to the problem, but these points are all a way to answer the problem itself. This is a little bit more intense of all the CDs I'm doing in this program for you, because time management, no question in my mind, is the number one problem that real estate agents face today. So I'm going to go through with you a series of points. I want you to listen. I want you to make notes. I want you to really hone in on these thoughts. I want you to take the time to talk to your coach about them. I want you to feel comfortable to say to yourself, I'm not 100% clear, and understand that everything in your business revolves around your ability to control and manage your time. So here's the first point. At the beginning of each year, determine how many days you're going to work for that year. Okay, sit down with the calendar and go right through. There's 365 days in a year. You should be working 250 to 275 days a year of actual work. Our average client, unfortunately, works about 180 to 200 days a year. I do not understand why real estate people think that they do not have to work at least the same number of days as a person that has a normal job. For some reason, real estate people have in their minds that you can work 180, 200 days a year and that's acceptable behavior. My belief is you should be working 240, 250, 260 days per year. So you look at your calendar for the year and you say, okay, I'm going to work 260 days. And then I subtract 10% for the days that you're sick or you flake out. Okay, that will help you get rid of some of the guilt you'll feel on the days you don't work. So the first thing in time management, determine the number of days you're going to work. Number two, the schedule that you set for yourself, and we'll talk about that more later on this CD, should always be based on the goals that you've set for the year and not for anything else. Okay? The schedule has to be designed to get you to the end result. Let's say that you've set a goal to do 50 transactions for the year. Every day that you work, you have at the end of the day the number 50, because each day gets you closer to the 50 deals a year that you're trying to accomplish. And the schedule that you have has only one purpose in life, and that is to get you to the 50 transactions. Now, if anything on that schedule detracts from getting you to 50, you have to really question your schedule. You have to look at it very carefully. If anything on that schedule is designed to propel you to 75 when your goal is 50, you have to either say to yourself, I either have to raise my goal or take that out of my schedule. The schedule has to be based upon the fact that you have a realistic productive goal set for yourself. But watch point number 3. Be careful not to create a schedule based on somebody else's productivity, somebody else's goals, because every schedule for every person is designed individually. I talked to an agent a couple of days ago, and he said to me, well, should I be prospecting 4 hours a day? I said, well, that depends on what your goals are. He said, well, I want to do 15 deals a year. I said, well, Why would you prospect 4 hours a day? Because one of the superstars in the office who's doing 80 deals a year prospects 4 hours a day. I said, well, here's your challenge. If you follow his schedule, you'll start getting his results. And the guy kind of, you could see I could hear the hesitation. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, he's designed a schedule to do 90 deals. Your goal is to do 12 to 15. Let's design a schedule for that. Never create a schedule based on somebody else's productivity and goal. Always create a schedule based on your productivity and your goal. The fourth point is having a precise schedule can solve almost every production problem you'll ever have, provided, of course, you follow it. Now, I want you to think about this. Having a precise schedule can solve almost every production problem you'll ever deal with. See, there's certain laws in life, there's certain laws in selling, that if you follow the law, you're always going to be okay. And one of the basic laws in selling is, if I have a schedule and I follow it every day, my productivity is going to always move towards this particular goal that I've set. However, if you don't have a goal and you don't have a schedule, your productivity is all over the place and you'll never accomplish and fulfill what you're trying to accomplish. So, having a precise schedule will then solve almost any production problem you deal with. Point number 5, treat your business as if it were a real job, which makes your schedule easier to follow. Now, I want you to think about what I said. Treat your business as if it were a real job. Okay, you have a real job. Well, and if you don't believe that, your buyers and sellers believe you have a real job. They actually think that you have a job, that you go to work every day like every other person in the universe does that has a job, and that you follow a certain routine every day. They don't know that you're a realtor. They don't know you're independent contractors. They don't know that you just kind of do whatever you feel like at the time. They think you have a real job. Well, if you get the mindset that you have a real job and you treat your business as if it were a real job, your schedule then becomes easier to follow. Point number 6, if you limit the amount of time you work, you force yourself to be effective in the time that you work. I'm always amazed when I see real estate people that say, you know, I'm available 24/7. I'm available 24/7. Man, you call me anytime you want. You know, I've got a cell phone number, and I've got a pager, and I've got a beeper, and you can email me, you can tweet me, you can text me, you can do anything you want. That's a bunch of nonsense. Okay, that's total nonsense. There's no way anybody is effective 24/7. Okay, it's almost impossible. So what I always say is, figure out how many days you're going to work for the year, figure out how many weeks you're going to work, figure out how many hours you're going to work per week, and then make sure that your schedule is tailored and within that so you can maximize your performance during that particular time. Point number 7, do the most productive thing possible for 30 minutes of every hour. Listen carefully. In real estate, prospecting, lead follow-up, going on presentations, and negotiating contracts are the 4 critical activities to build a career upon. Prospecting, lead follow-up, going on presentations with buyers and sellers, and negotiating contracts are the 4 basic fundamentals of building a great business. If you look at your schedule, let's say you show up for work at 8 o'clock and you're going to try to be home by 5:30. During that time you work, if 30 minutes of each hour you're doing the most productive thing possible, long term you cannot lose the game called productivity. You cannot lose. Number 8, keep track of your time. This is a hard one. Keep track of your time hour by hour for 2 weeks. So take a scratch pad and virtually for 2 weeks, every hour write down what you did to see if you're doing the most productive thing possible for 30 minutes. I think you'll be shocked when you look back after 2 weeks to realize how much time you waste, how much time you spend doing nothing, idly sitting at your desk, talking to friends in the office, reading unnecessary emails, playing solitaire on your computer. Watch, the purpose is to identify your strengths and weaknesses of your time management system. And if you really want to be good at what you do, keep track for 2 weeks and mail a copy to your spouse at your home and just say, sweetheart, this is what I did the last 2 weeks. What do you think? You're probably going to be unhappy when you find that your spouse reads that you didn't do much of anything for 2 weeks. Send a copy to your coach. Let your coach critique your schedule. Number 9 on our list, Your daily schedule should be kept in a place where it is seen by a lot of people. Accountability is critical to anybody that wants to grow and move forward. Okay? Post your daily schedule. Put a copy on your refrigerator so your spouse and kids can see it. If you have an assistant, give a copy to your spouse. Give a copy to your sales manager or your broker. Post a copy in front of you at your desk. Make that as public as you can make it, because the more people that see your schedule, the better chance you have of actually following it. Point number 10, to create a stronger focus on personal motivation and time management. Where are the places you'd like to go, the things you'd like to do, and the things you'd like to have? See, part of managing your time is being motivated to do your job during the time you're supposed to. But if you don't have any personal goals that are driving you, if you don't have any personal goals that you're excited about, if you don't have any personal goals that get you up in the morning and say, gosh, if I work today and I take this listing, make that sale, my spouse and I, my family can go do that. Okay, so where would you like to go that you haven't been or you want to go back to? What are some of the things you'd like to do? And what are the things you'd like to have to make your life a better life in the future than you have today? Personal motivation is critical to time management. Point number 11, not having strong personal goals and objectives always causes a time management problem. Not having strong personal goals and objectives always causes a time management problem. Why? You have nothing to drive you on the days you don't feel like working. Point number 12, your schedule is a working document, so be flexible with it, okay? Imagine that I'm sitting with you and watching you work. Imagine if I'm sitting every day watching you work for 4 or 5, 6 days. Are you going to maximize your work time? The answer is yes. But at the same time, there has to be a degree of flexibility. That doesn't mean that you're in the office at 10:30 and you're doing your job, which is prospecting, and one of the agents says, let's go to Starbucks, and you go, why not? And you kill an hour of your time. That is not flexibility, that is stupidity. Point number 13. Look carefully for what doesn't work in your schedule, and then talk to your coach about it and change it. See, if you really try to follow a schedule for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and you see something that's not working, talk to your coach. Let's get that fixed. Point 14, following your schedule is simply developing a habit like any other habit you have. The more often you do it, easier it becomes. Remember, it takes time to create a habit. Following a schedule is a habit, and it takes time to create a habit. Point 15, the more clear you are as to what you want to accomplish, the more sense your schedule will make to you, and the easier it will be to follow. Okay, I don't have any goals, I have no objectives, I just want to make some money, I just want to live week to week, month to month, I just want to get by, I want to pay my house payment and make my car payment, I want to take my little vacation. That's all I want out of life. Well, that isn't going to drive you to go out and become the productive person you can become. So the more clear you are as to what you want to accomplish, better chance you have. And then, of course, point 16, be prepared to review your goals or revise them, and more importantly, edit your schedule every quarter. See, be prepared to edit your schedule. If it's not working, edit it. Point 17, remember that working 5 days a week is normal. Working 7 days a week is abnormal. You need time off to rest. You need time off to relax. You need time off to regenerate, to re-energize yourself. You have to give yourself some time off. Now, why do real estate people not take time off? And the answer is they feel guilty. And why do they feel guilty? Because they didn't work on their days on, therefore they have to work on their days off. It happens all the time. Point 18, there's 3 segments to a strong Mike Ferry trained agent's day. A is the morning routine. It's from what you do from the time you get up to about 11:30 in the morning. Second is the early afternoon routine, say from 12 o'clock till 3 o'clock. And then third is your presentation time, which is from 3 o'clock until, say, 7:30 in the evening. The key is, are you able to maximize and follow those routines? Which brings us to point 19, master your morning routine. Because we refer to your morning from the time you get up till 11:30 noon or so, we call it money time. The most important time of your day is between the time you get up and 12 noon. There's nothing in your personal business life that can't wait till after 12 o'clock. You've got to create that time of the day where you absolutely are going to commit to following that schedule, which brings me to point 20. Your morning schedule should be untouchable. It should be made out of cement, concrete, intense, and more importantly, productive. When then point 21, the afternoon schedule should be set aside for lead follow-up, previewing property, doing your pre-qualifying of buyers and sellers, and going on appointments. And if you have additional time, do more prospecting. When I talk about prospecting in a later CD, I will say to you time and time again, we are the only industry in the world, real estate, where you don't have to prospect every day. Every sales job in the world requires that you prospect. For some reason, our industry doesn't understand basic sales. Point 22, since you would never let anything interrupt or delay a listing appointment. Now think about that. You're never going to let anything interrupt or delay a listing appointment. Don't let anything interrupt your morning prospecting appointment. Prospecting is the core of the business that makes everything happen. See, you're not going to just blow off a listing presentation. If somebody says, I want to list my home, man, you're going to be alive, alert, energized, and ready to go to work. Well, how do you get listing appointments? Through prospecting appointments. So you got to make that morning untouchable, concrete, intense, and productive. And the afternoon then is set up for your lead follow-up, previewing property, pre-qualifying buyers and sellers, and going on appointments. Okay? Point 23, create what I would call a perfect schedule for yourself. Okay, here's an example based on a 5-day work week. Okay, for example, arrive at the office by 7:30. 7:30 to 8, check your messages, check the for sale by owners and the expireds that you want to contact. 8 to 8:30, call for appointments and get any administrative work done. Are you saying to call people and set appointments between 8 o'clock in the morning and 8:30? Correct. Well, Mike, that's awfully early. The world has to go to work. Only realtors are not working at that time. 8:30 to 9, role play your scripts. Get yourself in the right mindset of doing your job. 9 to 12, prospect. And if you're out of the office, call the office and check messages every 45 minutes or so. Say from 12 to 1 o'clock, go have lunch, go relax, go and enjoy that time. 1 to 1:30, return calls, do your administrative work. 1:30 to 2, any lead follow-up, any pre-qualifying that has to be done. 2 to 2:30, any more administrative work because you have to make sure your deals are going to close. 2:30 to 3, take a break. Refresh yourself for the balance of the workday. And then 3 to 7, prepare for appointments, go on appointments, do additional prospecting, or go home. But let's maximize our performance each day. Now, yes, if you do it every day the way I just stated, it's exhausting physically, mentally, and emotionally. But it's exciting because you're going to be moving closer to the goal you've set. So let's recap the time management by saying, let's make sure we have a personal goal. Let's make sure we have a production goal that's exciting, that's important, that's going to drive us each day to do our job throughout the course of the day. And then we have a schedule that allows us to get there. If you'll do this, guys and gals, it's going to be a wonderful journey, and it's going to be a very productive journey and a very profitable journey. I'm anxious to hear about how well you do on the journey. I'll look forward to talking to you on our next CD on prospecting.